Now, let's get things started.
It's a Friday.
Happy Friday.
I don't get to see y'all very often on a Friday. But February is Black History Month. And since, all 28 days of it. And since the Super Bowl is on Sunday, our first Black History Month FYI honors Fritz Pollard. Born in Chicago, Illinois, he received a scholarship to Brown University, and in 1915, he was the first black football player in the Rose Bowl. After serving in World War I, he became the NFL's first black head coach in 1921, and then 2 years later, the first black quarterback. A pioneer in integrating the NFL, Pollard received a place of honor in the NFL Hall of Fame in 2005. Woo! Amazing. And we're also taking part in National Red Day to help the American Heart Association raise awareness about cardiovascular disease, which is the leading cause of death in women. I don't know if you knew that, but yes, it hits us harder than anybody. So we're wearing red.
Where's your red? Oh, you're sitting. Damn, girl, you're flexible.
Huh?
You're flexible.
Well, you gotta be. You gotta be. You want to work on this show, you gotta be flexible. You know?
Comes in handy.
That's it. So, you know, Maroon 5 is set to play the Super Bowl halftime show, and amid the calls of protest to the NFL for the way they treated Colin Kaepernick and other players who took a knee during the national anthem. Now, here's what the lead singer, Adam Levine, says about their decision to play. Watch.
I'm not in the right profession if I can't handle a little bit of controversy. It's what it is. We expected it. We like to move on from it. And like I said earlier, speak through the music.
Now, Levine also hinted that they may address the controversy in some way during the show. Do you think they should? Is it unusual? What should happen? Or do you care?
I'm just surprised at the response for the halftime show, because I just don't know what the alternative is to not have a halftime show. I actually think it's great that he's going to do this, and I don't think we should assume that just because he agreed to do the halftime show that somehow he doesn't care about the issues. He said, I'm not a politician. I don't publicly speak. I express my own views through my music and through my acts in my own life. I don't think as performers we need to like pressure them to be a politician or to speak out on things that they are maybe not comfortable with in that format, in that way. So I say take a breath. I think it's going to be a powerful halftime show. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
I don't agree with that at all. I think that...
I'm shocked.
I don't.
I'm shocked.
You know, I just don't think... I think that they should all skip halftime. Skip it. Protest.
So what happens during in between?
Stand with Kaepernick. The guy took a stand. He took a knee. Now he's out of a job. Stand with Kaepernick. That's how I see it. We're living in a society that is racist. Everybody knows it. You've got to stick together or they will never bend. So that, yes, Adam, go ahead. You want to sing, go ahead and sing. But I don't approve of that. That's me.
And I think that if first of all, I watch the Super Bowl for the ads and only the ads. But look, I think, you know, they have very...
If I'm going to watch it, it's for that.
They have the different opinions, and they've got the ability to exercise their different opinion by watching or not watching, by supporting or not supporting. We have personal responsibility also to support people who support what we care about and not support those that we don't care about. Look, Rihanna got offered the halftime show, and she rejected it. These issues are huge for her. She did not want to be part of it. She took a stand.
That's right.
He's not. So then, guys, you can support the artists that you want and not support the ones that you don't want.
Yeah, I mean, I think in your scenario, I just want to get clarity. Everyone's just kneeling during the halftime show, and there's no.
I'm just saying.
But I just mean there's a break. There's semantics of the football game that they take a break for a reason. So during that period of time, what would you suggest is done, if not to enjoy music of some kind? And by the way, he's referencing. I agree with Abby. We haven't seen the performance yet. He could address this, and I just think for me, if we as Americans can't enjoy a Super Bowl halftime show. And again, by the way, did you ever see Beyonce's? It was quite political. There's a way to do it and have it still be political and make a statement on, by the way, the biggest performance in the world. And I think to knock everybody that's involved before you've seen it is a little premeditated.
Well, one of the interesting things is one of the artists who is performing said, you must give a donation to these guys to make sure that this conversation doesn't stop.
Big Brother.
So there's a lot of, to me, there's a lot of things going on. It's not new that this is happening. You know, artists have always made their decisions. You had Sun City, you know, years ago fighting against apartheid. So, yeah, you have to make your decision. Everybody can't stand for everything all the time. So you can't assume that people don't believe it. Believe in the cause. You have to support what you support. I kind of feel like, listen, there might be a different way to do it, but it wasn't offered up. Gladys is singing. I'm not mad at her, you know, because, you know, just like the players, you know, the players come in and play, and they should be able to do whatever they need to do or protest how they need to protest. People go in, and it's a big platform, and it's good for them. It's good for a lot of singers, a lot of musicians. So I can't say to somebody, don't do it. I can say, just don't forget why people are saying, we'd rather you didn't. Let's not forget that, and go from there.
And I think it's interesting to go look at what Gladys Knight said. She spoke about it, and she said, look, to me, it's not about the anthem. It's about social justice. It's about equality in criminal justice. It's about the issues, and, you know, she's separating them.
And I'm here to make my statement on it. This is why I'm singing this. I'm singing the song we're supposed to all be taking.
And by the way, she could hypothetically show up in a Black Lives Matter t-shirt while she's singing the national anthem. We don't know what these performers are going to do. So I would like to hold judgment until I've seen it at this point.
I think it's less about judging what they're going to do as to whether the conversation is necessary to be had. I see you praying. I see you praying. I see you. I see you. He almost took a knee. I'm telling you. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
Is this the candidate who's going to make Donald Trump a one-term president? Senator Cory Booker just dropped a bombshell that's rocking the race for the White House, and he's making his very first TV campaign stop live on The View. Next week on The View, Jesse Jackson Jr. Now he and his mother hit the table. Emotional, important, exclusive. Plus, one dope queen, Phoebe Robinson. And from the award stage to our stage, the one and only Glenn Close hits The View. Next week on ABC.
It is not a matter of can we. It's a matter of do we have the collective will, the American will. I believe we do. Together, we will channel our common pain back into our common purpose. Together, America, we will rise. I'm Cory Booker, and I'm running for President of the United States of America.
So, obviously, that was Senator Cory Booker, who just announced that he was running for the presidency of the United States. It is raining candidates here on The View, and we are honored that he has decided to make this the very first live TV stop at the Hot Topics table. So please welcome Senator Cory Booker. So before I ask you the first question, I do have to say that some of us were tripped up when we walked in and saw your brother sitting there.
He is the better booker.
Is he a twin?
We could serve as a stunt double, but no, he is older. Don't get it twisted.
And of course, and your mom.
And more importantly, he and I, is my mother.
Yes.
My mother.
Which brings me to the question, so why did you decide to run?
I think all of us know is that so many Americans are losing faith in this country's ability to work for them. People are feeling left out, left behind. And I think a lot of folks are beginning to feel that the forces that are tearing us apart in this country are stronger than the forces that tie us together. I don't believe that. And so I'm running to restore our sense of common purpose, to focus on the common pain that we have all over this country. We can do better, and I'm going to be in it to try to show folks that when we come together, when we stand together, when we work together, there's nothing we can't do.
So,
I appreciate that. Coming from you.
Sounds good. So you're very good friends with Kamala Harris and also Kirsten Gillibrand, right? Who have also thrown their hats into the ring. So how is Cory Booker different from those two people?
First of all, they are friends. They are sisters. There'll be some sibling rivalry, but at the end of the day, we're family.
He's got better hair.
Look, I've spent my entire career running at problems that other people said couldn't be solved. You know, when I left Yale Law School, I went right into an inner city to take on slum laws with incredible tenant activists, and we beat them. I ran for mayor of a tough city at a time that our country was in economic freefall, when people were demeaning inner cities and degrading them, and now our city is seeing its best days of economic development, housing, our schools. So my conviction is that we can do impossible things when we come together. Even in Washington right now, this rampant cynicism. But even in this last Congress, reaching across the aisle, working with people, we began to dismantle mass incarceration. I passed...
But let me interrupt you, because my question is, how are you different from them? They say similar things.
Well, again, my record, I think when I have a chance to put it before people, they're going to see a very different, sort of not usual path in politics. And where I live, I still live in the Central Ward of Newark, New Jersey. The only senator that goes home to a community that's, still a low-income community, inner city community.
And they don't.
I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying that my pathway, the battles I've taken on, the things that people say other people can't do. To me, it's really what my mom challenged me to do as a kid. She just said, look, you have a debt to pay back, and you can't really pay it back. You got to pay it forward. And so I'm proud of not only who I am and my conviction, but this is a time where too many people, I think, are trying to pit people against each other, where the Democratic Party, I don't want it to be defined by what we're against, but by what we're for. I don't want it to be defined by beating Republicans, but by uniting Americans.
All right.
Senator, I believe right now in this particular moment that authenticity is actually the most valuable political currency anyone can have. And you have gotten some criticism for grandstanding during your performance during televised hearings. It's been interpreted that way. SNL actually parodies you for this reason. How do you convince people, especially on the left, that you're authentic and that you're not a phony, especially during this time, and this isn't just, sort of a political stunt, if you will?
Well, you can't speak to authenticity. No, you've just got to be who you are, and there are going to be critics all the time. My focus is putting...
Sarah Palin was parodied on SNL, and it turned into a reality. And so there's a power in that as well.
Well, again, I've lived my life committed to focusing on the issues that matter to people, and taking on problems that many people said couldn't be done. From inner city education, Newark is now the #1 city in America for beat the odds schools, high poverty, high performance. You go to those school children and ask if that's an authentic change. It is. If you look in Washington right now, we have a horrific system of mass incarceration. 1 out of every 3 incarcerated women on the planet Earth are right here in the United States of America. I went to work on that problem, took years to get this bill together, and finally in fact, I met with Matthew Charles this week, one of the first people released, righteously so. So these are authentic changes. It's about what you do. Let my works speak for me.
I traveled.
Just to that point, SNL parodies a lot of people. And Sarah Palin's the only one who really got burned.
But what I think is, and I respect I hear what you're saying about...
Speaking for a friend.
It's a genuine question. And by the way, it's criticism that's from the left as well. And I hear what you're saying, and it all sounds great. And I understand what you're saying about your record. But I do think there's something to be said when I think of you now, I think of I Am Spartacus. And that, I don't know if is the best reflection of you.
I hope people go back and watch that whole clip, because even that was twisted. What we do in this culture right now, it's a tear-down culture. The truth doesn't even really matter, and I hope you'll go back and watch the Kavanaugh hearings. That was one of my prouder moments, sticking up for people. And when I was threatened to be thrown out of the Senate, I told the senator that did that, bring it. Another senator stood up and said, if you're going to throw Cory Booker out, throw me into the pit as well. And that senator, I looked at them and I said, wow, that's like an I am Spartacus moment. He stepped forward and said, anything that happens to Cory happens to me.
Who was that?
It's Senator Dick Durbin, who is a righteous man.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying right now, that's the problem with our culture, is that these snippets, we have people getting more and more ratings by tearing down the other people.
Yeah.
That's not how I'm going to run this campaign. If you're tired of that kind of bitterness, of that kind of trash talking, that kind of trolling, that kind of politics that is just a race to the bottom in our country, then don't support me. Because I'm not in this race to tear people down. I'm in this race to try to build our nation up.
I traveled much of the middle of the country. I talked to voters, and not all Republicans, independents, even Democrats, who said, I'm voting for Trump this time because I've been the forgotten person. He came here, he spoke to me. I like his economic message. You're going to have to win over those voters, and a number of them feel like their life isn't worse. They may not like everything the president says, but they have food on the table for their family. 300,000 new jobs were just added last month, which smashed records.
That's after 8 years, just by the way.
No, that's
I'm just saying, it's been common, that's all.
I don't disagree. The economy is a much broader conversation. I'm talking about where we are right now, though, and people are thinking about their daily lives. How do you change their minds?
You and I travel the same country, and look, there's a lot of pain out there in America, and a lot of fear, and it's not, no party has a monopoly on that hurt. There are people checking out from politics, giving up on politics. That cynicism exists from inner cities to suburbs to farmtowns to factory towns. There is a lot of pain. And the challenge is, for us as Americans, with a little bit more courageous empathy, recognize that this is a common pain, that we're all in this together. If you put off seeing a doctor because you can't afford it, that's not a Republican or a Democratic pain. That's right now hurting in America. If you work in a full-time job in this country and still can't make ends meet, have more month at the end of your money than money at the end of your month, that's an American pain. There's over 1,000 jurisdictions in this country where children have a higher blood lead level than Flint, Michigan. They can find unleaded gasoline more easily than unleaded water. That's not a Republican problem or a Democratic problem. That's an American problem.
But couldn't Trump say 2 years in, I've made your life better? The unemployment is...
Listen, the problem is what's happening right now is people are thinking that we're going to win this by demonizing each other. What I'm going out there to say is we have a common pain in this country, but we've lost our sense of common purpose. And to solve our problems, we have got to come together. Look, my mom was reminding me, you know, this is Black History Month. It just started. She did a sit-in in Virginia. And taught me very early on that when we were trying to move into our house and we couldn't move in because of the color of our skin where I grew up, it was blacks and whites, Christians, Jews, Democrats and Republicans that worked together to bring our country higher.
That woman's going to have a history if you don't let her go to bed.
And I want to say that that's what we got to do in this country is bring people together again.
You know. We're coming back with more with Cory.
Amen.
Well, listen, I wanted to ask you, so the last 2 years under President Loco have seen a spike in hate crimes, homophobia, anti-immigrant crime. Anybody that is a person of color is a target. You know, his comments haven't helped. He creates culture wars, like things like the anthem. How do we heal that? How do we move on from that? How do you propose to heal that?
Well, that's one of the calls that I feel to run right now. You know, I feel like the strength of my economic ideas, environmental justice ideas are really strong. But look, I've faced some tough problems when I was managing a city in a recession. And we learned really early on, I was political fights and the like, but I realized that what my city needed was healers, to people to bring folks together. There's an old saying that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. The biggest threat to cancer in many ways in our country right now is a caustic type of politics that wants to pit us against each other and create the delusion of separateness. We need leaders that are going to put that indivisible back in this one nation under God and call us to that common purpose, which is to address the injustices in our country and tell the truth to people. And look, I think that when people make a mistake, they think to be tough, you need to be cruel. They think to be strong, you need to be mean. Some of the strongest people I've ever seen are those who risk a little bit of vulnerability, who stand with unarmed love in front of dogs and fire hoses and batons. We need to reignite a sense of civic grace in our country. We need to not be so quick to judge each other, and we need to begin to see that we are in this together. No matter what, we're in this together. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about a lot in this campaign, not only the issues, but the spirit of our country. Because I know I'm here. I'm here because of those folks who understood that we're in this together. I may not look like you or pray like you, but my destiny is attached to your destiny. And from stormy beaches in Normandy to Alice Paul and her first ever protest in front of the White House. In fact, people forget Frederick Douglass's last meeting he went to before he died was a suffrage meeting, because he knew that your justice is my justice, that your destiny and fairness and equality is going to affect the quality of my dignity. And that's what we've got to get back to.
Okay, let me ask you something that I feel very strongly about. In fact, it's keeping me up at night a lot.
Yes.
First of all, we've just experienced the longest shutdown in the history of the country. Okay, that's one thing. Then I find out that there are still children separated from their families at the border. Some kids are 17 months old. This is something that is making me nuts.
But this is worse.
What are the Democrats going to do about that? And why don't we hear about it every single minute of the day?
And I just want to double down on what you're saying. We also found out from a recent report that there were thousands, many more children affected than was originally admitted.
I know.
And so, and when we say the Democrats, the question is not what the Democrats. The question is what we do. Because in every moment of our lives, we have one choice to make over and over again: to accept things as they are or take responsibility for changing them. The challenge for me, and King said it more eloquently than I can, the problem today is not the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people, but the appalling silence and inaction of the good people. And so what I'm calling folks to do is forget political labels. This is a moral vandalism on the ideals of our country. We swear an oath every day when we put our hands on the hearts and say the Pledge of Allegiance to liberty and justice for all. And the last thing I'll say is, it's not just, my mom who taught Sunday school said, love thy neighbor, no exceptions. No exceptions.
But, most people just have a vote. We don't have the power that the Democrats and the Republicans have. We don't have Nancy Pelosi's clout.
I have been saying this for years.
We can protest, which we do on a regular basis on the show. I'm asking you, what is your party and mine? What are you going to do about it?
And I'm telling you that what the question is what is our country going to do about it? Because when you say that the individual person doesn't have power...
Well, tell us what we should do.
So first of all, understand, I've said this for years, that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. And know this, that the most common way people surrender their power is not recognizing they have it in the first place. So the first thing to do is just not to be silent. Not to be silent. The second thing was, when I went down to the border, I was blown away by the volunteers I saw showing up there, the people that were willing to go out, literally walk out onto the bridges where people are trying to do the legal thing and present themselves for asylum and protest that. If folks waited for Strom Thurmond to come down to the Senate floor one day and say, it's about time those Negro people have some rights. No. They didn't wait. Change does not come from Washington. It comes to Washington.
They can call people.
They can call. They can protest. They can serve. They can volunteer. They can give resources. And so, look, I'm running a campaign. I'm not taking corporate money. I'm not taking a PAC of money. I'm not taking lobbyist money. And I'm trying to say that if you believe, like I do in this country, that we need to reignite that spirit that brings our country together, then stand with me. Let's show that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. By what? Making small dollar contributions, going to CoryBooker.com, texting RISE to 4023. This is, to me, what we need to do is understand that we are not powerless. We are stronger than we know. We're more powerful than we believe. And when we stand together and come together, I'm telling you, I know what the destiny of this nation is. It's not the pit we're in right now, the darkness we're in. We are going to be, as Elijah called us, a light unto nations. We're going to rise as a country.
I hope so. We're going to take another break, and we're going to have more with Senator Cory Booker when we come back.
Of the United States. Senator, thank you so much for staying here. So bear with me on this question.
Okay.
So you're a vegan, and when you go on the road to run for president, you have to break bread with a lot of people, and you have to eat a lot of things.
Yes.
What does a vegan eat at the Iowa State Fair?
Well, let me tell you a secret.
I'm serious. I thought of this.
I'm announcing this for the first time. Yeah. My mother's mother, my grandmother, was born in Des Moines, Iowa. She was in a singing group called the Wee Sisters that competed at the Iowa State Fair. Took second place, from what I hear, to Shirley Temple. So I don't know if any candidate will have that kind of deep roots in the Iowa State there.
enough.
Yeah. So I will be
Baby,
going
but
to.
you're still not going to be able to eat the pork chop on a stick or do anything about the butter cow.
I won't eat the pork chop on the stick, but there will be lots of deep fried stuff that I will be.
Corey, you show up with a brown bag to Iowa, you're done.
I will not. Listen, I've had enough of my grandmother's. And in fact, my grandmother's partner and cousin in the Wee Sisters, was their group's name, turns 100 this year. And I know they're watching in Iowa right now, so I want to say hi to my Aunt Alma and all those watching, and my cousins there. I don't need, when I go back there, I eat some good home soul food cooking, so I'm in good shape.
All right. Good, because you ain't going to find much vegan fare there. Listen, you've run a city.
Yes.
You've been senator for a long time. How are you going to convince the other side, whatever the other side happens to be, that their idea can work alongside with your idea? Because what I feel like as I've been listening to everybody is everybody comes in with ideas and you have to figure out the way to blend them to make it work for everybody. Do you have the patience for that?
Yeah, I do. And look, I found out very first, if you lead with often, your partisan positioning, it's hard to break through. And this is where I talk about grace and empathy. If you back up a little bit and talk about the common values we hold in common, all Americans understand that we shouldn't be putting aside a life-saving drug because we can't afford it. We shouldn't let people profiteer off of our pain. All Americans understand that in this country, if you work a hard day's work, you should be able to make a living wage. If you start from those values and then build from there, you can find major breakthroughs. In Newark, we did it. I had to deal with a Republican governor. I had to deal with people with very strong beliefs and faiths. But when we backed up and said, don't you believe that in this city we shouldn't gentrify, that we should focus on doubling the production of affordable housing in a housing recession. We did it because we excited people's imagination and we found a way. Impossible things are possible when individuals come together. We are all here because of uncommon coalitions that produced uncommon results. The story of America, we don't share a common faith, race. There's all different backgrounds, but we are the strongest country on the planet Earth because of uncommon coalitions that were able to help this nation rise. And we desperately need to rekindle that in our country now.
Okay, because I know that when it gets into very sort of thorny subjects, like race, like a knee, like abortion, like, I want to know that the conversations that you all are going to be having, Republicans, Independents, whoever's sitting in those seats, I want to know that you can get them to at least stop and listen.
Yes, and that's the thing. This can't be about avoiding the hard conversation.
Okay.
It can't be about telling the truth of race in America and in fact, I can't stand when people try to whitewash our history or Santa Clausify people like Martin Luther King, who was against the Vietnam War and for economic justice. We need to have the hard conversations, and telling the truth is the beginning of reconciliation.
And this is the hardest truth I'm ever going to tell today.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Oh. Tell me goodbye.
Tell me goodbye. We'll keep an eye. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Hey, it's Will Arnett with a challenge for you guys watching at home. Am I doing my Batman voice from the new Lego Movie 2, or do I just have a really bad chest cold? I couldn't hear it, but it sounds like that was my music. That was my intro music.
It feels like you're the only person who's been here this week that's not running for president.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I too have an announcement to make. I am not running for anything. Right? Doesn't that sound good?
That sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So
Nice palate cleanser. I like that.
So a little bird told me that you just came back from London.
Yes.
And that you're pretty tight with Prince Harry. Is that true?
Well, I don't know about tight. I mean, he seeks my counsel a lot, sure. No, I got to know him a little bit. He's such a cool guy. Actually, the last time I was there, I texted him as I was walking by Buckingham Palace. I said, I'm in town, and I was just thinking of you. I was just walking by your grand's house. I thought it was cute, you know?
And did he respond?
What be you like that? That was a good joke.
I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Did he respond?
He did not respond, but you know, the good thing is I cleared with the British security and I'm fine.
Okay, good.
It's probably in his junk. Junk mail.
Junk mail. Yeah. Oh.
That took me a second, Ruby.
It took me. It's Friday. I'm not used to talking.
I don't know if he texts from the John. I don't know if he does. Anyway.
Anywho, listen, you know you are my favorite Batman. You're the only Batman I like. And I hear that you brought us something from the world in which you have been inhabiting.
I did. I brought you a little something from the Lego verse, if you will. Check it out. It's somewhere here.
Oh, there, it's behind.
Well, there it is right there.
Those supposed to be us?
That's us!
It's y'all.
You don't want to mess with that group.
So I think it's good. Really take it in.
I really like my outfit, so thank you, Legoverse.
Yes, and I'm wearing vertical stripes, which made me look thin.
It's smart.
That's cool.
That's smart.
All right,
It's
good.
savvy.
I look like me. It doesn't matter what you do. I always look like me. So why isn't Lego Batman in that shot?
Because I won't share a set with other people.
I said.
Yeah, there wasn't enough room for because Batman, he's got a big ego.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
Maybe he should run for president.
Yeah.
Maybe he should.
So
There's a lot of big egos running for president already, baby.
Tiffany Haddish plays a new character in the movie, and you could say she's your love interest, maybe? Can we take
That's a good one. You fine.
Tiffany, she claims that you're her mother, so that's what she's been saying.
Whoopi's not old enough to be her mother.
I know, but that's.
I actually am.
I'm covering you.
But yeah, I know. No, I know. I like her so much. She's lots of fun. She's lots of fun.
Oh, she's so much fun. She's so surprising, which is a great quality.
Yeah.
All right, so can we stay with this romantic mood for a moment? Because your voice, your Batman voice, I could listen to it all day long.
Okay.
So either announce you're not running. I couldn't afford
You guys are having fun.
You should do an app on a phone that people can, whenever they want to hear it, they can just listen to it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, maybe you can make some money.
Yeah.
So we want you to read some of the most iconic romantic lines from movies in your infamous Batman voice.
You had me at hello.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Very good. I'm aroused.
And that ain't easy. What else?
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Well, that one, I know the source of that, so
It's not as.
That's guys.
This one's my favorite line, though.
And this one, it's a little longer. Notting Hill.
Famous
I'm sorry, I missed that. I missed that one. I'm sorry.
Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant.
Still missed it.
Hugh Grant.
My favorite. It's one of my favorites.
You never saw Notting Hill?
No.
I think we should do a segment called "What Movies Hasn't Whoopi Seen."
There's so many. There's so many. There's so
Not
many.
that one. Yeah. It's in the wall, but not that
So
one.
we're going to watch another clip, though. So your Lego 2 movie takes place in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
And James Corden took you to space camp
Yes.
to see which of you would be the best astronaut.
Yeah.
I am dying to go to space camp. Has anybody here?
I've been to space camp twice, everybody.
All right, so
Yes,
let's
it's
watch the clip.
fantastic. Yes.
Good luck, Will. Good luck.
All right. Well, that's not normal.
You let me know when you're ready for the questions.
I'm ready, man.
Who was the best Batman?
Michael Keaton.
If you'd been the first man on the moon, what would you have said?
Bro. Full stop.
What can you tell us about Uranus?
It's never been explored.
Oh, there it is. Well done, Will.
That didn't feel good. That didn't feel good.
Did you puke?
You liked it. You liked it better than this?
I liked
than
it.
the one that was going around that way.
I liked that less.
Did you go to
Doing
one in
that thing.
Huntsville?
Yes,
When
in
did you go to?
Huntsville.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing.
It's really fun. I actually, and they said Elizabeth Banks won. I don't know. I'm looking for a recount on that, but probably because I almost barfed.
Let it all go.
Yeah.
Well, now you know how women feel.
That's
They're
true.
like that for 9 months, some of them.
Tell me about
They
it.
say hello and it's like, rough. You know what? You don't you don't get to come here often enough, and we really like having you, so please come back again.
I would love to. I love being here.
So the Lego Movie 2 will be in theaters and IMAX next Friday, okay? We, of course, will be back.